Reframing negative thought patterns, a holistic CBT approach to cognitive distortions and recovery. Introduction. Welcome to this module on reframing negative thought patterns. This lesson is part of the Cognitive Behavioral Therapy certification program offered by Liberated Living's Holistic School, but we've made it free to the public so anyone can benefit from the insights of CBT. Now, before we dive in, let's set the stage. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is one of the most widely used approaches in psychology today. At its core, CBT is about how our thoughts influence our feelings and behaviors. When those thoughts are negative or distorted, our emotional well-being suffers. The good news? With awareness and the right tools, those patterns can be changed. By the end of today's session, you'll be able to define what CBT is and how it works, understand factors that shape our behaviors and decisions, recognize common thinking errors or cognitive distortions, practice ways to reframe those thoughts for healthier outcomes. So let's begin. Why this matters. Think for a moment about how you see the world. If you walk into every day believing the world is unsafe or hostile, what happens? You stay on edge. Your body is in constant alert mode, and eventually your stress response system gets worn down. Now imagine the opposite. If you generally see the world as manageable and yourself as capable, what happens? Your stress system can reset itself. You cope better. You make choices that support balance and health. That's the essence of CBT. It teaches us to question and reframe the interpretations that keep us stuck in stress, anxiety, or depression. Factors that affect rational behavior. Why do people act in ways that don't always make sense? Let's look at some influences. Physiological and emotional. When someone is tired, in pain, or overwhelmed by strong feelings, their reasoning can be clouded. Environmental. Being in new or stressful situations often triggers automatic, less rational responses. Social. We're influenced by the people around us. Family norms, peer pressure, or lack of support can push us toward unhelpful beliefs. Pause and think. Have you ever made a choice you regretted because you were exhausted, stressed, or under pressure? That's a perfect example of how these factors shape behavior. A note about irrational beliefs. Now, I want to pause here. Many people resist the idea that their beliefs are irrational. That word can feel judgmental. Instead, in CBT, we often use the word unhelpful.
Why?
Because most beliefs start out rational.
They made sense at the time.
But if they never get updated, or if they continue despite causing harm, that's when they become unhelpful. So, with clients or even with ourselves, we want to approach beliefs with curiosity, not blame. Basic principles of CBT. At the foundation of CBT are 5 skills clients learn. Distinguishing between thoughts and feelings. Identifying automatic thoughts, the ones that pop up uninvited. Evaluating those thoughts for accuracy and helpfulness. Interrupting distorted thinking patterns. Developing independence in adjusting beliefs and perspectives. That's the roadmap we use as practitioners. What causes thinking errors? Let's break this down. Thinking errors, or cognitive distortions, can arise from several sources. Cognitive shortcuts. Our brain likes to save time, but that can mean jumping to conclusions. Emotional reasoning. I feel bad, therefore it must be bad. Moral rigidity. Believing something is right or wrong with no room for nuance. Social influences. Everyone is doing it, so it must be right. The impact of thinking errors. Why does this matter? Because distorted thinking has consequences. Emotionally, it fuels anxiety, depression, or shame. Behaviorally, it can lead to withdrawal, unhealthy coping, or poor sleep and eating patterns. Physically, stress can show up as headaches, illness, or stomach issues. Socially, it strains relationships and creates distance. So when we help clients reframe, we're not just changing thoughts, we're addressing every area of their life. Common thinking errors and how to reframe them. Let's walk through some of the most common distortions. Emotional reasoning. If I feel it, it must be true. Ask, what's the evidence I'm in danger right now? Skill. Practice emotional regulation. Negativity bias/mental filter, focusing only on the bad. Ask, what positives are here that I might be ignoring? Skill, balanced thinking. Personalization, assuming everything is about you. Ask, what are some other explanations for this situation? Catastrophizing, expecting the worst-case scenario. Ask, will this matter in 6 months? Am I confusing probability with possibility? All-or-nothing thinking, seeing only extremes. Ask, what shades of gray exist here? Fallacy of fairness, believing life should be fair. Reflection, think of examples where good people experienced hardship. Labeling and attribution errors, defining yourself by mistakes. Reframe, I failed at this task, instead of I'm a failure. Practical questions for clients. Here are a few guiding questions you can use in sessions or in your own reflection. What are the facts for and against this belief? Is this based on evidence or on feelings alone? Does this thought move me closer to or further from what matters most? What advice would I give to a child or a close friend who thought this way? Examples of distorted beliefs. Let's put it into practice. Listen for the distortion in these statements. Mistakes are never acceptable. If I make one, I'm incompetent. If others reject me, there must be something wrong with me. Nothing ever works out for me. If I feel happy, something bad will happen. There is no gray area. Do you recognize any of those? They're common, but with CBT tools, they can be restructured. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT key concepts and techniques. 1. How cognition impacts mental health. Perceptions shape emotional and behavioral reactions. Example, viewing the world as hostile hypervigilance stress system overload. Viewing the world as manageable balanced stress response adaptive behavior. 2. Factors that affect rational thinking. Stress and overwhelm. Anxiety, busy schedules, multitasking. Negative emotions, worry, fear, anger. Physical, pain, illness, poor sleep, malnutrition. Intoxication, alcohol, drugs, medications. Environmental, new or unfamiliar situations, adverse conditions. Social, peer or family pressure, lack of supportive relationships. 3. Causes of thinking errors. Cognitive shortcuts, heuristics, and outdated schemas. Mental noise and limited processing capacity. Emotional reasoning, I feel bad, so it must be bad. Moral/social beliefs. Everyone is doing it. Likely the most common. Stress, age, crisis, or trauma typically followed by trauma to the nervous system, including vaccine injuries. 4. Effects of cognitive distortions. Emotional, anxiety, depression, shame, guilt. Behavioral, withdrawal, addiction, sleep/eating issues. Physical, stress-related illnesses, headaches, GI distress. Social, isolation, irritability, strained relationships. Cognitive distortions and how to correct them with CBT tools. What are cognitive distortions? Cognitive distortions are biased or inaccurate ways of thinking that fuel negative emotions and unhelpful behaviors. In CBT, the goal isn't to think positive, but to recognize these distortions and replace them with balanced, realistic thoughts. 10 common distortions and reframes. 1. All-or-nothing thinking. Example, if I don't succeed perfectly, I'm a total failure. CBT reframe tool. Continuum/spectrum thinking. Balanced thought. Even if I didn't meet every goal, I still made progress. Diagram. Failure, progress, success. 2. Overgeneralization. Example, I always mess up relationships. CBT reframe tool. Evidence testing. Balanced thought. Sometimes I struggle, but I've also had meaningful, positive connections. 3. Mental filtering, negativity bias. Example, I got one piece of criticism, so the whole project is bad. CBT reframe tool. Both/and thinking. Balanced thought. There was some criticism, but also positive feedback I can build on. 4. Disqualifying the positive. Example, They only said I did well because they felt sorry for me. CBT Reframe Tool, Reattribution. Balance thought. It's possible they genuinely appreciated my work. 5. Jumping to conclusions, mind reading/fortune telling. Example. They didn't text back, they must be angry. CBT Reframe Tool, Reality Testing. Balance thought. I don't know their reasons. There could be many explanations. 6. Catastrophizing. Example. If I make a mistake, I'll lose everything. CBT Reframe Tool, Decatastrophizing Ladder. Balance thought. This might be uncomfortable, but it's not life-ending. I can cope. 7. Emotional reasoning. Example. I feel anxious, so something bad must be happening. CBT Reframe Tool. Feelings is not equal to facts exercise. Balance thought. I feel anxious, but that doesn't mean I'm in danger. 8. Should statements. Example. I should always be strong and never need help. CBT Reframe Tool, Flexible Language. Balance thought. It's okay to want strength, but it's also human to need support. 9. Labeling. Example. I failed once. I'm a loser. CBT Reframe Tool, Behavior is not equal to identity. Balance thought. That was a mistake, but it doesn't define who I am. 10. Personalization and blame. Example. It's my fault my friend is upset. CBT Reframe Tool, Alternative Explanations. Balance thought. I play a part, but there are other factors outside my control. Practical exercise. Thought reframing table. Event. Automatic thought.
Distortion.
Evidence for. Evidence against. New balance thought. Friend didn't call back. They must hate me. Mind reading. They haven't replied before when busy. They've told me they value our friendship. They're probably busy. It doesn't mean they hate me. Teaching wrap-up. As you present, remind learners. Step 1. Spot the distortion. Step 2. Label it. Step 3. Apply the CBT tool, spectrum, reattribution, evidence, flexible language. Step 4. Practice reframing until the new thought feels more natural. This process weakens old patterns and builds emotional resilience over time. Core CBT tools and models. The ABCDF model from Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy. A equals activating event. B equals belief about the event. C equals consequence, emotional/behavioral. D equals dispute the irrational belief. E equals effect of the new belief. F equals functional behavior moving forward. This model helps clients trace the path from thought to outcome and then reshape it. Thought records and worksheets. These allow clients to track what triggered the thought, what emotions followed, the evidence for and against the belief. A more balanced replacement thought. Practical CBT tools you can use. Grounding and mindfulness. Bring awareness to the present moment. Constructive self-talk. Questions like, what's the evidence for this? Urge surfing. Noticing an urge without acting on it. Role play and reframing. Practicing new perspectives in safe settings. Reflection worksheets. Building self-compassion and resilience. Reflection and practice. Here's a takeaway exercise. Identify a recurring thinking error you notice in yourself. Ask, what purpose is this thought serving? Evaluate the costs and benefits of keeping it. Develop a more balanced replacement thought. Practice repeating it until it feels natural. Final note. Remember, thoughts drive emotions, and emotions drive behavior. When we reframe thoughts, we reshape lives. If you'd like to go deeper, you can pursue a certification in CBT or an advanced diploma in holistic mental health through Liberated Living's online holistic school. We offer over 40 internationally accredited programs designed for therapists, counselors, and holistic practitioners. You can find more information at liberatedliving.com or visit holisticschool.online.